When last we left our investigators,
We've worked hard
instigators,
for heroes.
This is only section 20. We're only level 4.
I got 4 words for yous. Y'all ain't heroes. You did investigate the mines to find out about the disappearances and the weird goings-ons.
Mm-hmm.
But that was time before last, because last time ended with, on the train ride back, strange translucent plant creatures accosted the train in general, and they seemed to want to cause violence. You pacified them.
We killed them, Justin.
with your own brand of violence, and
You fucking murked them.
with your own brand of violence, and kept casualties to pretty much the bare minimum. Nobody died other than the one that got surprise attacked, and there was really nothing you guys could have done about that one.
Or Josh.
So pat yourself on the back. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Josh.
No, Josh was fine.
I don't know. His name was Josh. I've never met a good Josh.
Mesa Windu.
Damn,
named
you're
Josh.
All right, damn it.
Yeah.
All right, never mind.
Yeah.
Calling me wrong.
If you're listening to this podcast, Mesa Windu, come on the podcast. We'll play.
Come on the pod.
All right, let's not get thirsty now.
No, I'm always thirsty for friendship, for more players to torture. That's the DM way. We pick up with the uncircle pan, right? Still on the train. It's making its way back. It's almost back, but we are just in these aftermath moments.
You ended it with it stopping at the station last time.
That was incorrect. Well, time space
Okay.
rewind just a little.
Well, I lied to you.
It was a lie. And it's kind of there. Earl and Peggy are like in that second to last car, and they're looking into the last one at the kind of splayed out body of Josh, and Earl kind of head down, like steps forward back into that very back car and grabs a tarp and puts it over him, and then walks back into the second to last car, and then into the next car where kind of more people were, and most of the people that saw this, and I imagine that's where you all are. And a little bit of silence happens unless someone has the desire to break it, but if no one does, Earl, who's still kind of looking down, will look up and say, well, this was something.
Are you sure you're okay? You took quite the beating.
It's not quite the beating. I'm perfectly all right. I'm a very hardy, stubborn old man. And you see, like, nothing's wrong with his range of motion. He's not limping or anything. These are just flesh wounds
bleeding?
that'll heal. No. They'll heal. And it's not what's important right now. I suppose this is escalated on their terms. He looks around first at you all, but then more so at the miners present, and he says, "We're gonna need
Bigger boat.
well that to officially keep this under wraps for a bit. And Peggy starts to say something. He puts a hand out. I know. We'll tell Josh's family. We'll make sure everyone knows what they need to know. But Imperial interference will just hurt more than help, and you all know that." He says firmly and looks at everybody, and everybody kind of like half nods, looks down.
No one tell Dag anything.
Oh, Dag will tell everybody, but if we make sure this ain't the first time or the only time we've kept secrets from the Empire. It's why they don't own us. The officials all stay up in the space station. As long as they don't catch wind of this, we'll spin something official until the time is right. But me and my new help, he like gestures to you all, we're already on the trail of this. This just sped things up. Peggy, are there still, as she like cuts him off, she knows, yeah, there's a weapons cache. So we'll arm ourselves for the next shift because everything has to keep moving, she says. Yeah, unfortunately. But the next shift, me and these professionals will try and find the source of this. So it hopefully won't be for long. Peggy and the others nod. We're gonna need some equipment of our own, Earl says. And then we kind of just, like, pan out, and the remaining... It's not that much time that the train had left, like 10 minutes, 15. So if anyone wants to say anything on the train, they can, but nobody has to.
I don't have anything.
No, I don't either.
The train stops quickly but smoothly, and you all pile off, and kind of all the miners like get off first, and you guys like make sure you're last. And Earl, whether you go with him or not, he's gonna break off to one of the warehouse, because there's two, like, there's the processing plant, right, where stuff gets unloaded. And some of the miners, actually, this shift has ended. There were people waiting on this train to unload what's in the back, but Earl stops them with a hand gesture, speaks to the first two who like are clear or seem to be the supervisors. They come back with a holo stretcher, and then somebody, a very gangly, could be human, you can't really tell. They're in like a big coat, but Ash, you know this is the town doctor.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of guide the stretcher in, and you see that supervisor and that doctor come out of the train first with the still tarp covered Josh, and then after they've made their way inside a building, the other workers start unloading the goods in the boxes, but not before. While that was happening, Earl will probably even say, let's scan the train to make sure no more of them are crawling in the corners.
Alright.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Sounds good.
People can roll investigation or
Temporary boost.
perception.
What do I have?
I'm better with investigation.
I'm better with perception.
I'm bad at both.
Oh, that's
17.
a nat 20 for a total of 24.
There we go.
That is a 25
Uh,
from me.
I rolled a 16.
Okay, so
The soldiers are bad.
this is how I'll what did you get, Ray, again?
17.
17? Yeah. So this is how I'll resolve this. The two decent rolls, the 17 and the 16. You scan each car. You know how this works. You know how making sure an area is clear. You don't find any more. You're confident that there are no crannies that you left unturned. The two really high rolls found precisely where all of them were hiding. You see little residue of those spores, like you found on the cave walls and on the cave floor, on top of some of the high stacked boxes and under the benches in that very last car. And you both are convinced that they only hid in that very last car, and everyone is convinced that there's no more. And so Earl, brushes his hands, and then when you guys step out, he gives just a "you're fine" motion to the workers who were just standing there because they're on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And they start unloading. It's quite the predicament.
You can say that again.
Yeah, I'll say.
They gotta be coming from somewhere, though. And it's gotta be deep, if we haven't seen hide nor hair of them before this.
Have there been any changes to the mining schedule since?
Nah, it's all like clockwork for years. It's just, the different mountains, right? But we haven't even started in that mountain recently. We've been in that one for a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah, you said a few months, yeah?
Yeah. Which, we're not nearly done with that one. We've spent, a year or more in one place before having to expand the track and move on, but it's just it don't make any sense. I don't like it. And you all, you do make your way back to Earl's place. And that the door kind of shuts behind you when he says that, and then he turns to both Cal and Ray and says, and I also don't like that. I think you saw something. Get a chair?
I saw a lot of them. It looks like there's a whole society down there.
Society?
That was real old though, so that must have had been from a long time ago, although who's to say much has changed.
She shrugs. It's just, That's what I saw.
You saw its history?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're one of them. Special. Alright.
She just makes a face. What the fuck does that mean?
The Echo is what, well, that's what he called it. Only a few Jedi can. It's a gift you gotta be born with.
It's just, makes sense. It's always been like this.
You're saying you saw it when you touched the staff?
Yeah.
And you saw you used society, right? That word?
That's what it looked like.
So they have structures and culture?
I nod, yeah. Looked like it.
Makes these complicated.
They
don't seem ready for negotiation, to be honest.
Well,
which sucks.
But they had a reason, is now what we have to conclude. If they were just violent.
They were too smart to...
Yeah.
They were too smart to not be civilized.
Yeah, they're the type of creatures to plan, make tools. He gestures to the staff. Gather in groups. I don't think I'm comfortable making assumptions until we at least ask why.
I doubt if they've been here longer than anyone's been here, and this is the first time anyone's ever heard of such a thing. There's gonna be a language barrier. How are we gonna try and even communicate?
It's a good question.
If I was one more level, I could make it better for everyone, but no, I am level 4.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, in
Put
order
that
to
in
gain
game
levels,
terms,
we need
please.
to gain experience points.
Let's go kill some womp rats then.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't run on EXP, you run on milestone, so punching rats wouldn't do anything.
Thank God.
Thank God, yeah. You know how you get good with the Force? You go kill rats in the sewers.
Yeah.
In the Coruscanti sewers.
Exactly.
If only we had some sort of, like, translation device or something.
Yeah, it would be nice.
I could start maybe trying to make something, but I don't know how long that would take, and it's time we don't have.
We also don't know exactly how they communicate either.
They probably don't speak basic.
I think it's clear they don't speak basic.
We could just
they
try a
might
bunch of
just
languages
not-
until we find one that works.
No.
I mean, like, between the 5 of us, and Lemmy, if we want to include binary, like, how many do we have between all of us?
Togruta, Nautilin.
I speak Mandela, and she puts her fingers like almost touching and a little bit of Huttese I picked up from this one.
I speak Huttese and basic. That's it.
I'm just basic and also Togruti.
Yeah, I ain't got much of use either.
Yeah, no offense, but you don't exactly seem learned.
I teach us a lot at the Jedi Temple, but you know, only so much
You
when
don't
it comes
seem
to
learned.
book learning. That's only if you want to.
Let me guess, you never really went tome diving?
Oh, a little. Dooku was... He, like, stops himself. I was really into that.
Raestra
sorry?
has a visceral reaction.
Would she have known about Dooku?
Probably.
My master, Dooku Sereno.
She just kind of like instinctively just points at him and goes, "What?"
The commander of the droid army for the Separatists? That was your master?
And it was a Jedi before that. One of the greatest. Then it became one of the 20. And, all of that happened. He sighs.
Raestra is just trying not to scream.
I do know some of the most basic, conversational Twi'leki. I learned it to impress a suitor.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You probably have a little bit of a lot of things.
Anything
Well,
else?
Twi'leks are hot. What can I say?
Is there anything else that you can throw in that is vitally important?
What's the fucking bit? I know how to say yes, please, harder.
You close?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
It's peak funny when it's like as conversational as possible. Just you close?
I'm learning a lot of things that apparently are a big deal that I clearly have no clue the gravity of.
Yeah, how did Cal take that?
Oh, the Dooku thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to say I'm surprised. No, it makes sense.
But it's been a week.
It's been a hell of a week.
Yeah, I'll say.
I don't know if this guy turned out to be bad news. I don't know how I feel about that somehow making sense. I don't like what that implies.
She leans in and she goes, "The worst news. The worst news humanly possible. News so bad its equivalent is telling you that your parents have died of an embarrassing disease in public. That's how bad the news was."
I mean, I understand it clearly. I can understand that it is not great that this is facts that have now been put out into the ether.
Wait a minute, how... I know you were sheltered, but, like, you didn't even know anything going on during the Clone Wars?
No, she was outside.
He hid everything from me. Same with my parents. I point at Earl.
It wasn't important.
It wasn't important?
Important?
What the fuck does that mean?
Not to her development, I was hoping it would end quickly.
No, it's okay. Raestra just instinctively just puts a hand on Nyx's shoulder and goes, "Well, somebody else thinks so too, not just the Separatists. Someone else thinks you're not important." I couldn't even say that joke with a straight face. Fuck.
Like, I didn't know what a clone was. Remember when you took off your helmet and you thought it would provide a reaction and it did nothing?
I know.
She didn't, it was funny.
But to be perfectly honest, that's not that surprising, because not everybody has seen what a clone looks like without their helmet on.
It's true.
But the fact that you didn't know anything about the Clone Wars...
I will also be fair that I only knew as much as brief interactions with contacts on the outside world could have told me. I was occupied.
The war didn't come here.
With who?
He gestures at Ash.
Ash just kind of like shrugs.
I was taking care of this place.
She narrows her eyes.
I still wasn't done making sure the management was on the up and up when the war was in full swing. The Order kept trying to call us Wayseekers back, but I just didn't want to.
Well, that was like, the war didn't start until, like, if I'm piecing together the pieces right, like, I'm 26 now, Empire took over about 5 years ago now.
Quick, Nyx, how old are you?
I think...
Well, that doesn't help, because they were made, like, literally a decade in advance.
Yeah.
The clones were made a decade in advance, but they kept developing clones after that point. They never stopped making them after the first batch.
It's true.
And Nyx is not a Gen 1.
And
He's a pretty late Gen.
No, Nyx wasn't a I wanted to establish that Nyx was literally the last batch of clones made.
Yeah.
So,
I was 17, judging by when the war started, maybe?
Yep.
But judging by what you told me, like, you got rid of them when I was, like, 8. It took that long to make sure that shit didn't hit the fan? Again?
Well, keeping peace isn't easy, and I was helping raise you. It's a priority.
That's true.
I didn't want to leave, because then I felt like anywhere I go, I might run into the war. And war was the last thing I needed. And apparently the last thing the Jedi needed.
I'm so glad that you got to have your sabbatical while all of us died. I'm so happy about it.
You didn't die either.
Yeah, she looks at him really seriously for a minute and just crosses her arms and goes, "Yeah. I wish we can have the conversation about what happened to me."
No, I can imagine. Nobody said it wasn't bad.
You actually can't, but it's fine.
I'm not going to say didn't feel right, but what did feel right was staying here to help her.
Mm-hmm.
And these fine folk. Or maybe I was just complacent. He, looks down and shrugs.
That seems to be the default for you.
He just... he just grunts and doesn't say anything to contrary.
Being antagonistic about it isn't going to help anything.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. it's hard to
No, I
imagine.
don't blame
it's,
you,
it's hard to imagine someone not knowing anything about what happened. I mean, people died in this war.
I mean, for
Lots of
you, I'd
people.
imagine that'd be difficult.
It happened without a lot of people even trying. Here in the Outer Rim, we were just only valuable if it could further the war effort.
I remember that period being a little bit more profitable than usual, but I didn't really know why. I just thought we were just having some good years, you know. But with how Ashaa-kai works, you know, it doesn't really need. It can't be invaded easily, and
It just feels weird that, like, no news ever reached you.
no, I would imagine because if I found out that I'd try to go be a pilot in the war,
Precisely.
Did he lock you in a box? Like, how did you... It was all we heard about.
Well,
You were in the middle of it. The flow of
Yeah.
information was he purses his lips, controlled and monitored, both from the source and by the time it got here to the Outer Rim.
yeah, like, information flows differently from planet to planet, and especially now with the Empire.
And the war never got close to here, so only people that desired to know and reached out learned anything. I learned a little, like what the Jedi were up to, some of the people I knew, but that was it. That's all I cared to know.
Who was your contact?
Oh, a few people called me. But I know a few people that aren't directly in the Jedi Order that know a thing or two. That's what happens when you go about what I was doing. Industrial espionage, I guess is the technical term.
Mm-hmm. Is that what the kids are calling it now?
I mean, he stopped my planet from being enslaved with massive debt and prevented me from becoming one and freed my parents. So, like,
True.
clearly he can do things right.
We're not saying that he can't do anything right. It's just, it's hard to wrap your head around.
I mean, we're about as far in the Outer Rim as you could possibly get before you hit wild space, so...
There ain't nothing in this system but this, and we were well guarded. No one was... Ward ever got close.
I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm just saying.
I understand.
I know it's fucking weird. I'm...
We only heard about the war. You were born in it, molded by it. No, sorry.
Literally.
that was
literally
That
do
was-
it.
Yeah, I was
Literally,
born
actually,
and
for real.
molded for war. That's my whole purpose of existing is fighting.
A lot of people didn't. Well, a lot of people had feelings about that in the Republic.
Yeah, I know. I've had my run in.
He actually he stops and looks you up and down and considers how many of their. And he like stops to think to rephrase. How many are left?
Clones?
Yeah.
Honestly, don't really know. Wish I did.
We ran into one
Yeah.
when we were leaving Coruscant.
It was wearing black armor. Armor that I've never seen before. But the other thing is, I mean, the last ones I knew that were alive was my squad. And, well, let's just say I didn't exactly part on good notes.
I mean, they couldn't have all, like, died when the war ended, right? Like, they would have still been, like, around.
Not only that, but I don't think Nyx would be here if that were the case.
It's not like there's some kind of kill switch, right?
Mm.
I don't know about that, but we do have accelerated aging. We don't last very long.
Is that possible to fix?
I mean,
To change?
Have to ask the Kaminoans. They'd probably know.
I am not going back to Camino.
Smart. And you guys know how to use the Force. Maybe we can, like, figure it out or something.
Listen,
At some point down the line.
listen. Hold on.
It's less a
Everyone just
technological
stop
thing and
for a
more
second.
a-
Just stop, okay? I've come to terms with it. All right, it's something that I learned very early. It was, in fact, the first thing I learned and came to terms with, that I don't live as long as everyone else does. I either die on the battlefield or I die of old age at 50. Maybe.
Well, if we could stop it to give you more longevity, would you take it?
Ask me later.
Okay.
Alright.
I mean, I don't know much about biology, but he ain't no droid that just needs tuning.
Yeah, it's the whole process. It's in his genetics.
Give me enough books and I'll come up with something. I'm smart.
If anybody could figure it out, I'd believe it'd be you.
Earl smiles and says, "Yeah, I think you're right."
I don't know. They kept those Kaminoans kept cloning to really close to their chest. It was the first place that got occupied as soon as the Empire took over. There's no way you're getting that information.
Yeah, that makes sense. They would want immediate control of that planet.
DM,
Yes.
would I know what was done with the rest?
That's what I just had Earl roll a check. He failed. It was a natural one.
Woof.
I don't think so. It wouldn't have been information you would have been immediately privy to or needed to be told. So
I think the most.
well,
the
you
most
would
I was
know.
going...
So there's a few things. So I know what you wouldn't know, but you would know that what directly related to you in that they were many early squads of purge troopers that were made up of
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
experienced and willing clones.
Yeah, my thought was going to be her response being just to shrug and be like, I knew a couple.
But also to put in perspective, just like with the military, they were quickly replaced with conscripted soldiers.
Yeah,
Not replaced,
she's-
but like the ranks were filled up.
No,
were
yeah.
replaced.
not clones.
Phased out.
So she
Yeah.
shrugs and she says, I know they aren't making any more, but all I knew was most I've got for you is that when they started phasing them out, I've seen a couple, like the one we saw back on Coruscant, but other than that, I've heard the voices around and I've seen the faces, but if they're there, I don't even know if any of them would recognize any of us even if they did. It doesn't seem like they do.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they were still making clones. One thing that I learned when I was on Camino was that the fact that our gene, the original gene, was getting thinned out exceptionally.
How does it?
You can't keep making copies of the same thing forever. It'll just wear out. They didn't have enough samples to keep going
Yeah,
forever.
they couldn't get more of Django samples because somebody removed his head from his shoulders.
Yeah.
Windu! I'm kidding.
Yeah, just after Django Fett died, there's just no more.
I mean, like, I feel like that's an oversight problem. I feel like you would have taken enough DNA that you would be set for like a hot minute.
Yeah, that hot
I mean,
minute
they
was the
made-
Clone Wars.
Yeah, there's only so much you can take.
It did last almost half a decade, so.
Skin cells, hair follicles, like there's a bunch of ways to get DNA off a person and have that track.
But DNA you can physically copy? They need like a sample. I don't know, I'm no science.
You need, she kind of shrugs. She goes, from what I heard and how I understand it is you need a decent amount in order to make a clone. You can get by finding someone on hair, skin, or saliva or whatever, but to make a whole person, you need a decent sized piece of them, and there's only so many decent sized pieces you can take until you don't have a person anymore.
The other thing was that the Kaminoans took pride in their work. They took pride in being able to make us so effectively for so long with so little.
None of us ever knew how they did it.
Yeah,
I will reverse engineer it.
I would. That is.
I
little
really
scary.
don't want more people to know how
I'm gonna
clone-
make more clones. I'm gonna do it to help him if he wants it.
I
What
want
the next?
She looks at Nyx and she goes, "Can I ask you a weird personal question I've wanted to ask you for years?"
Sure, we might as well. We've already gone off the list.
I've always wanted to know what would happen if we cloned you.
I don't think it would work. You can't
I don't
clone a
know.
clone. It's kind of like,
It's like photocopying.
yeah. I mean, and here's the thing: you want to be making a clone of Django Fett. You would be making a clone of me.
That's what I mean. I want to know what had happened.
Well, Justin's gonna insert some. I'm pretty sure this isn't how it works in reality, but our cloning is, rudimentary. Pretty sure in canon, it's like incest babies.
Yeah,
It's gotta
it's
be
just
something
not-
like posting a
it's not
picture and then
good.
saving it and then posting
Yeah.
the picture and then saving it off of like you
the
post it on
quality
the
gets
Holonet.
lower and lower. Yeah,
It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, like downloading a video.
You're essentially deep frying Nyx.
yeah.
Hmm.
I don't
It
like
would
that
continually
phrasing.
lose quality over time.
But also, like, Can you... Okay. She puts a hand on his shoulder and goes, while we're here,
Oh my god.
I'm going to ask you an insanely personal question.
Alright, that the other one wasn't?
No, this is more so. Do you know if you're, like... She pauses for a minute and, like, does a hand gesture and goes... Viable?
What?
Are you asking him if he can reproduce?
Yes.
I don't know, and I haven't tried.
Because that's another thing I'm interested in knowing.
What the hell?
Because, like...
I mean, I don't see why it would make them infertile during the process unless they did that on purpose.
But, like, if you could, and then you got a woman pregnant, and you had a kid, would it work?
I don't know. I'm a clone. Why would I know
That's
this?
what I mean!
I mean,
Because if it doesn't, right? She's just, like, sitting forward in the chair slightly and goes, like, if it doesn't, right? If it doesn't work, then essentially, like, if your genetics, we'll say that it's possible, but, like, if your genetics don't pass over, then she puts a hand on him again and goes, does that make you a cloning machine?
I don't know, alright? That's like asking, like, what
Sorry,
came
Justin
first,
has
the
a
Tusken
canon
Raider or
answer.
fucking
Did
Jawa?
you actually... So, Nix. Well, a few things. None of you or your brothers are, like, incapable, right?
Right.
You can
you can
bust
win
nuts.
as much as you fucking want.
Yeah, stuff would happen on shore leave, people would, and you
Listen,
were
I've-
taught about safe sex in your escalated
Listen,
puberty.
I don't know why
your
the
fast-track
Kaminoans didn't
puberty.
make us infertile, but they kept us functioning. I don't know.
The deserter
Is
had
the word
kids.
virile?
The word is virile, yes.
Alright,
Yeah.
cool. Glad I can
that's
add that
that's
to
what
my...
we know in. I just double checked. That's what we know in
Raestra
canon.
wouldn't know that word, but yes, that's the word.
Not Tup, but whatever. Oh, what was his name?
So, Cut, I think.
Cut LaQuaine.
Cut up.
Had kids with that Twi'lek.
No, Cut Up was no,
Cut Up died.
Cut and Cut.
Cut
yeah.
up got eaten by a worm.
Cut
Yeah.
Up got by a worm.
Oh, yeah.
Cut is the one that left.
Cut LaQuaine. He gave himself a last name. Had 2 kids with that smoke show of a wife. Whew. Anyway.
Jeez Louise, yeah, seriously.
She had no right.
She had all of the rights.
It's true.
And seemingly
Dave had no
reproduced
right.
with that man.
Dave had no right being like, but make her. Anyway, we're off track. So yeah,
Why
the
is
answer
Asajj Ventress so hot in this episode?
in short, you guys can have all the sex you want. But those parts work, and you're pretty sure, like, you were taught about safe sex.
Listen, I don't know why I can, but I can if I so choose, and have someone that wants to. I don't know. This is weird. I'm uncomfortable.
And listen, we're not getting into the canon of how sci-fi protection works. We're just not. There is no canon for
Yeah,
it.
what's the
because just
space
use your
condom called,
imagination.
Justin?
Jazz.
Tell me the
it's
Star
called-
Wars equivalent to a condom, Justin.
It's called,
No,
guys, it's called
Jazz
a
is
jizz
the-
trumpet.
Shut the fuck up! I need you to stop.
Oh my god.
Forever and for always, I need you to shut up.
So the only thing that we've got out of this conversation is that everyone's surprised that I knew nothing about the Clone Wars. That he points at Earl. He was taught by someone who later turned out to be a very bad person, and I point at Nix, is very virile.
Please don't ever say that again. And point
Yeah, please,
directly at me.
I didn't like that either.
I'm very uncomfortable.
Honestly, it is a little weird that they chose to, like, you'd think if they were made only for fighting, that.
Listen,
Well, I guess
the
the
question-
testosterone levels matter.
listen, I'll just say this, okay? Wait a minute. That's actually interesting. Wait a minute. He actually stopped for like a second because just like because the thing is that Jango Fett was extremely aggressive, but none of us
Yeah.
were. I mean, we could get aggressive, but we follow orders. We do what we're told.
You are
Who-
fairly mild.
I mean, you were made to follow orders.
Yeah, exactly. But
So obviously, like, your DNA must have been tweaked in some capacity.
so wait a minute. And aggression does come from testosterone in some capacities. If it's not from that, what's keeping me from being aggressive?
Programming your personality.
I mean,
Both.
here's the thing. Even though we were conditioned to want to fight, and we do want to fight, we're eager for fight.
I noticed.
We're not stupid either. Not to mention, we all have our own personalities. We were encouraged to develop our own personalities.
The minute you say you're not stupid, Raestra makes a like.
You did, in fact, lick the spores when we were in the mines.
And we
You
learned
gave him
valuable
your
information
real-
from that. I don't know what to tell you.
You
gave him
gave
your
him
real
your real
call
call
number.
number.
Alright, I will admit that was not my smartest move.
Sure.
Given that imp your real call number.
I mean, what's he
That's
gonna...
not a good idea.
Listen, what's he gonna do with it, alright? Nothing.
Yes,
there's
except
ultimately
track
nothing he can
us.
gain from it other than knowing my call number.
He could probably look it up and know that you're a deserter.
They already...
Hey,
I
guess
think,
what happens?
well, alright, cool. They already have that information. Now what? I'm already in the wind. It's not like I'm telling everybody else what my call number is.
We'll see.
I'm the brain cell of the party, and I've come to peace with that.
You got all the brain cells. There, Ashley. It's fine.
Cal just looks at Ash like, oh.
Raestra just nods.
Cal, I put my hands on his shoulders. You're not stupid. You are very wise. You've got, like, you and I have two very different types of smart.
This is acceptable.
I'll take it.
I'll accept it.
I'll take this W, I guess.
I don't have an answer for why Nyx's aggression isn't necessarily... There's something related to it, and it's something I've always wanted to ask
Sure.
any clone. Not even just Nyx, but any of them.
Fire away.
Are you satisfied with who you are?
All of the other questions were like, you know, they were personal questions that
fuck?
made him uncomfortable and stuff like that. This question, like, fucking, like, you watch, like, his expression go, like, completely blank.
She waves a hand in front of his face.
You say that you've made peace with, well, the shortcomings that come with being a clone, but to clarify, I'm not asking if you're complacent with yourself, if you're comfortable. I want to know if you're satisfied.
No. I was trained, taught, and made for war. It's my purpose in life. It's why I was even created, was to fight in a war. And I got one day of it. And that just so happens to be the day it all fell apart. I lost everything that day. And now I'm here in the Outer Rim, where no one's ever even heard of that war, wondering what to do next. So no, I'm not satisfied. But I know what I'm supposed to do, and that's survive.
We're gonna fight the good fight and help who we can.
Yeah, good fight.
Who knows? Maybe there's more like you.
I really don't think so.
You can't be the only one.
Cal is very lost in thought right now.
Yeah.
There's like this moment where Nyx just shakes his head. Whatever happened that day, everything changed. Not just the war, but my own brothers. It's like they got the worst news of their life, and they used that to drive themselves forward. They all looked like they were in pain or something, like something was driving them. That was the day I saw that aggression, and I saw that aggression turned against me. I don't know what it was, and I'm both desperate to know what it was and terrified. DM, quick question.
Yes.
I still have my clone armor on me. It's not like I'm not wearing it. However, I do have the helmet in my backpack. I'm gonna take out the helmet and pull out the communicator that broke.
I'm gonna ask the question that I've been wondering for a spicy minute. Do I know?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
Nobody really does.
Do you want me to fix it? I can fix communicators, no problem.
Sure, yeah. Okay. He passes it to you.
Oh, what good it'd do.
I don't know.
Nobody's probably broadcasting on that frequency anymore.
Oh, you could change the
Probably
frequency
not.
on any. It's not hardwired in.
I mean, yeah, we can change it to be the frequency we use so that if we split up, we can communicate.
Yeah, I suppose.
So it wouldn't be a bad idea, necessarily. I will make a tinker check.
Do it. This, by the way, this whole time, Earl has been present, of course, and paying attention, but he's got a comm and he's talking to someone kind of sporadically, like walkie-talkie style, in a tone that's like not giving them orders, but instructions.
Everything all right over there, Ale?
Just like I said on the train, making sure nobody who shouldn't come snooping down or here. We'll take care of this.
Expertise and temporary boost. Let's see, that's a 15 plus 9, so 24.
Oh yeah, you're good.
How did you break it? It's inside the helmet.
Well,
Did you get pinged?
so we were ambushed, and I wasn't paying
Well,
attention.
I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop
Okay.
you because we're gonna. Everything about that day is a little. Those moments are a little fuzzy to you.
Yeah.
You know, PTSD's a bitch. You know.
Yeah.
So you can roll. I guess there is no history, so it would be lore. But I
Sure.
feel like that's lore is intelligence, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
intelligence.
feel like.
Lord,
I don't feel like.
Here's my
that's-
question, though. Would it be a save?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did. That saying like, oh, just make an intelligence check to remember through your PTSD feels incorrect. Make it like a wisdom save
Sure.
through your trauma.
I love it when when the dice tell a story. So if you want, I can send you a picture. It's a natural 20 for a total of 21.
Oh, nice. Okay. Fun. No, I always trust my players because I don't lie about my dice either.
Except when he does.
Never.
Yeah, I know. I've listened to your weird screed about it multiple times.
I'm just a man of integrity.
Sure.
He counterspells Revivify one time.
And I will hold it against him forever.
All of it was within the rules and narratively interesting. You can.
And I will hold it
suck
against you
my
forever.
toes. And yet you
And
keep
you will never
crawling back to
fucking-
my games. If I'm so
I do, 'cause
awful,
they're
just
fun,
leave.
but I'm gonna- I was
Justin,
about to
we're
say,
all
I
in your
do 'cause
game.
They're fun, but I'll hold it against you forever.
Why do you think I wanted to be a clone in your Star Wars game, Justin?
So anyway, natural
Bitch.
20. Here we go.
Yes.
She asked that, and it comes like rushing back to you. Like you've thought about. There are moments. It's not like it was completely blocked off, right? It's not like you
Right.
haven't remembered this until now, but it's
Yeah.
spotty. You like some days you're like, oh yeah, I think I know exactly what happened that day. Some days you're like, you know, it's all a
Yeah.
blur, right?
Yeah.
It's how things like this work.
Right.
But after all this, maybe it's the little bits of adrenaline from that combat. Maybe it's being amongst friends that make you feel safe. It all comes rushing back, and ambush technically wasn't the right word. You were, much to your chagrin, your squad's chagrin, placed on guard duty for a Jedi Master on Coruscant.
Right.
You were kind of shuttled over there, because in those moments, Coruscant was at risk.
Right.
The Chancellor had been kidnapped. Things were unfolding. But you were not one of the squads put in any sort of key military location. You were assigned to a Jedi, and that Jedi was giving... It was basically a speech. The anti-war and anti-Jedi and anti-clone protesting had escalated as the war waned on. This particular Jedi was more of a... What is the word I'm looking for?
Diplomat.
Political scientist is not, but a very diplomatic individual.
Yeah.
A very diplomatic individual with a sub-specialty in the politics of the core, right? And this war. And they were giving a speech you were sent to protect, and you got beamed with what looked like a sign at first, but it appeared to be made of something much more solid, and fell to the ground. You're not actually sure how long you were there. It was, concussions are a bitch, right?
Right.
But when your eyes fluttered open and the noise started to fill your ears of the crowd getting more and more riled up, that was the next thing you knew, that you were on the ground and so was your Jedi charge, and your squad were escorting the crowd away at gunpoint.
Nyx kind of rubs the side of his head. Protester with a sign. Would you believe it?
Mundanities is typically the way that it goes.
Yeah, the Jedi we were with at the time was kind of a peacekeeper. He was trying to
She nods.
calm a crowd. And,
Your DM has a question.
yes.
I think this was mentioned offhandedly, maybe, but you haven't shared these details, these finer details with Ray yet, then, right?
Not really, no.
She just wouldn't have asked.
Yeah.
There's not really a good time until now.
Yeah. The only thing I've disclosed that Nyx would have disclosed to Ray is that he doesn't remember much of what happened, other than the fact that 1 minute he was with his Jedi commander, the next minute he was down on the ground.
Fuck me, you did roll a 20.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No, it's the whole time. Your dungeon master is considering.
Oh, okay. They were kind of a diplomat, and very peacekeeper focused. So they were trying to, calm the crowds down, the protesters, people that were rightfully upset about the war. The public was utilizing a lot of money to make us clones. And it was starting to affect the little guy, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah, well, I don't know why I wasn't paying attention, but protester got the blind side of me. Smacked me across the face with a sign, I think. I think it was a sign, but it was pretty fucking heavy. Knocked me right out. Next thing I remember, I'm on the ground, and so's the Jedi.
She just kind of like this occurs to her, and she just looks at him and goes, "So you really don't know what happened?"
No. When I got up, my brothers were escorting the protesters at gunpoint. I thought that maybe a protester got lucky and got a shot on the Jedi. When I was asking questions... When I asked Creed what happened, he was short. He just said, we did what we needed to do. Didn't you get the order? And I asked what order. He said it doesn't matter, get on the ship. We were getting carted. I can't remember exactly where we were being carted to, but I kept asking questions like, what happened? Why was the Jedi down?
They would have replied things like, they were a traitor. Things like that. And you would have learned, to make sure, in universe, literally everyone sitting here would know the propaganda of the Jedi were traitors, they tried to kill the Emperor.
Yeah. Not Ash.
The Order needed to die. Except Ash, yeah. The Order needed to die.
So, Nyx he goes into that. He told me that the Jedi were traitors, that they were plotting against the Emperor, and that they needed to be executed quickly before it became a full-on Jedi rebellion.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Oh, you would know all that propaganda too, right?
Well, yeah,
Intimately.
but knowing the line, but yeah, she would now be like, oh, so they made that shit up. Like, she would be intimately aware that they made that shit up.
Well,
so that's why she's
here's the fun thing. We'll do a little canon lesson.
Sure.
Here's the brilliance of Palpatine's plan. It was not made up. He had a recording of Mace Windu trying to kill him.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, that's not the... She, by the way, he wouldn't have needed a recording. If he would have just told her that Mace Windu tried to kill him, she would believe it.
but for the universe at large, it was evidence of submitted that he had a recording.
But that's what I mean. It's she
oddly enough,
know...
the cameras weren't working, so it was only audio.
How strange. But that's the thing. But she'd know that there was no Jedi rebellion. That Mace Windu just tried to kill him.
Yeah, you would have put together when you knew that everyone in the temple was killed. You would have put together that everyone in the temple was killed.
Yeah, that's why she's saying that's weird. Not. Yeah, she's like, no, that's.
Yeah, it's Trust me, I know it's weird. I asked. It didn't make any sense, because up until that point, the Jedi seemed to be peacekeepers. Before I went out, the Jedi that we were with was talking about coming together as a community to help each other and lift each other up. Now suddenly...
But I mean, she looks at Cal, because she, like, can't totally confirm. She didn't see what happened.
Yeah.
Purposefully did not get to see what
Purposefully did
happened.
not see what happened. She only found out about it later, so she looks to Cal for confirmation, and she says, "But that's propaganda. None of that shit's true."
Did Cal mention that I'm pretty sure he mentioned that his clones turned on him, his master, and his master's Padawan, yeah?
They were in the sewers of Coruscant pursuing a dangerous criminal.
And then I was a dangerous criminal.
Yeah.
Because it baffles me that suddenly the clones that have been working with the Jedi the entire time, I'm assuming, I'm putting, extrapolating the best I can, would just turn on a dime like that. That's weird. That's way too weird.
That's the thing, is...
It has to be programming level weird.
I mean...
He kind of rubs his head a little bit.
He's like, I heard it with the rest of the galaxy, and I 100% believe that Mace Windu tried to kill him. Master Windu was Master Windu.
Master Windu would do what it takes. Always.
I've seen Master Windu use a lightsaber to kill flies before.
Master Windu was certainly the most direct Jedi I've known about.
I'm sorry, now I'm just picturing Samuel L. Jackson with the hilt, like, out and pointed forward and his eyes, like, darting about, and then the fly, and he just shoots, like, activates his lightsaber and it's spear. You, like, hear a little sizzle.
No, what I
got the motherfucker.
What I imagine is just Samuel L. Jackson holding the lightsaber straight up. It's already on. He's just holding it and drinking a tea, and then just 5 seconds later, you just hear.
Yeah, just using it like a bug zapper.
Does this track? I look at Earl.
Oh yeah, he was a hard ass, through and through. Never liked me.
I've seen him throw hands with a vending machine on the Force. I've seen it.
That's not
But,
true.
like...
He wouldn't rage at machines. If anything, he's the most kept together of them all because he can use a pod and not turn to the dark side.
He's the most direct, but he's also, I would argue, probably the most reliable Jedi.
Well, yeah, that's why I would believe that he made the attempt.
So that means he probably tried to kill the Emperor for a reason, right?
Well, yeah, Master Windu never did anything half-assed.
That being said, it's definitely weird.
But it wasn't but verification that it was like that it was a plot. I mean, it wasn't.
Ray, you would we haven't had this flashback yet, but
Poggers.
You've unfortunately been in the same room with one sheep Palpatine.
I sure have. He was sure creepy and weird.
Yeah, you would 100% know that man is evil.
Yeah, she kind of like shifts a little and she's like, I've met him before, and he's about as dark as the void of open space.
Ugh. I don't like the sound of that, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Considering how shitty everything got after it was officially the Empire, not the Republic anymore, I'm not surprised.
Well, I kept asking questions, and it was getting on Creed's nerves. And he declared that... He asked me if I am sympathizing with the Jedi, that I'm part of the plot. And I denied it, of course, but I still kept asking. Next thing I know, blaster bolt was in my chest and I was falling. Fell out of the cruiser and landed on a very unfortunate vendor's cart.
My cabbages! We win the game. We tied it all into Dave Filoni.
Yeah!
We win Star Wars!
I don't know how I survived, but by all accounts, that should have killed me.
Will the Force?
I guess.
I look to the Force users in the room, like, am I doing this correctly?
Yeah, probably something like that.
It sounds to me like you missed an order.
I must have. You fixed my communicator, right?
I
Oh,
rolled
for
a
sure.
24.
Yeah,
I would
for
imagine so.
sure.
I've been
Yeah.
fixing these since I was like 6.
Tiny.
So here you go.
I can tell you, he holds up. Cal, you recognize it. It was the last generation of like communiques, but it's the stupid Gillette razor one that that Qui-Gon had.
Oh.
This was broken when I got here, but now it's more reliable than the new one that I paid too many credits for.
I use that one.
To check to make sure that it's working, and out of morbid curiosity, Nyx will go to the old frequency that he and his squadron used to use.
Yeah, the old
And just-
clone military frequency.
Yeah, and he'll just listen.
Static. Just like it's like,
I need scissors.
you know how there's like static where it's like, oh, nothing must be coming through, and static like, oh, nothing can come through.
Yeah,
You are in the middle of a magnetic storm.
that's
Always.
true. You know what? Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I don't know why you thought that was gonna work.
Yeah, it's just morbid curiosity.
We can test it after we fix the problem.
There was no
and
answering
we-
machine. God, would
Yeah.
that be funny? It's like, if anyone
reached
is
the
listening
cult.
to this, if anyone is listening to this, remember, execute Order 66.
Continue executing Order
Yeah.
66.
Yeah, exactly.
This message will repeat and then self-destruct.
Yes, hello. I would like to order number 66.
I'd like to order
With
66
Yes, can I get another
chicken
5 with no
nuggets.
mayonnaise?
I told you, Vader, mayonnaise is an abomination to the galaxy.
But if you combine it with ketchup and a few other ingredients, it makes an excellent orange sauce.
That sounds like Jedi talk, Vader.
That sounds like
That sounds
pussy
you're-
shit.
No, it's that sounds like Bendu shit, Vader.
Fucking stupid.
Give me
Anyway.
your strongest Dijon mustard.
Shut up.
So anyway, trauma.
Trauma! The thing Ash has only been recently accustomed to.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of,
It's new. Are you a fan?
No.
Uh-oh. Speaking of, what?
yeah. Well, all I know is it definitely happened all at once, because it hit me like a bantha. No. It hit me like a freighter.
I had never seen you so messed up before when
Yeah, well,
that happened.
unfortunately, when you cut yourself off from the Force, it doesn't keep you from hearing the waves.
Yeah, it was not good.
It all happened at once.
Word had gotten around that the war was over, but it didn't feel like it was over. It felt like it had just started.
Like, this is the epicenter of it.
We've had a long while.
Yeah, day is not really the accumulation of it
No,
anymore.
because things haven't been good since we all met, so
We simply have not had one good day together, have we?
No.
no.
I mean,
Well, it's-
we started off our day running.
You and I have started every day proverbially running for years.
You had quite a handful of days on Hondo's ship that didn't go poorly.
That's true. We had moments.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, I mean...
If we ever get a moment, though,
You
I
guys got to
just-
play Mario Party with Hondo, and he rage quit.
I certainly got some great strength training from pulling two ships together.
That's
Yeah.
I feel like Hondo cheats.
I don't know how you cheat at Mario Party, but Hondo
His
finds a
controller
way.
has turbo.
Hondo cheats at life. There
It's
are so
true.
many moments where Hondo should just die, and then he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. Well, we should probably get something to eat and
Yeah, this
On down,
unfortunately
prepare
it's not
ourselves
about
for tomorrow.
to end because we need climbing equipment. Do you want to come with me to Darcy's there, Asha?
yeah, yes, I would.
All right.
Should we come with, or do you want us to part ways for now?
Everyone can come if they want, but this is gonna. This won't take very long.
I'd rather not go out too much. I stand out a little bit.
It's part of the charm, I guess.
It's supposed to be.
You guys can prepare some ration dinners while there doesn't need to be much roleplay though. When you enter, Darcy is in the back with Peggy, and they're softly conversing and like sitting close, right? But Darcy will stand up to take care of business. Unfortunately, she does not have climbing equipment.
Oh,
The mines
damn
don't
it.
really need them. If they need to go down, they use the lifts that they build, right? Nobody's rock climbing in the mines. It's just extra risk that nobody needs to do, right?
I mean, I got a grappling hook, but that's only for me. That's not good for everybody.
Earl looks at it and says, "Well, if you built that, because you didn't have that last I checked."
Yeah, I did. I show off the grappling hook mounted on my wrist pad.
How hard would it be to make it bigger? To make bigger ones?
I'm not sure I need the materials for it, but I could probably do it.
He gestures at Darcy, and she's like, "Well, yeah, I got cable. Got plenty of cable. We need that for lots of things."
I can do that. Get me something big enough for a steady to be the hook part, because that's the part that's concerning. And I can do that. That's not hard.
All right, give the girl whatever she needs. And Darcy does. She like goes through the shelves and
Who is the very large Dowton, by the way?
yeah, she's a large Dowton woman.
We really like Dowitons in this show.
I like Dowtons. Yes, sue me.
Darcy, it's an NPC I made up.
Literally every Dowton we've seen in Star Wars is either bad, is either a villain, or probably a bad guy in Maskanata's bar.
It's fine. While she is getting things for me, I do want to show off the improvements I've made to Lemmy to her.
Oh, he can float? Well, ain't that something?
Yeah, I took apart a pit droid and attached the light and the
Pit droids walk.
hover. They can hover. The one I ran into could hover.
Oh, I guess anything can have a hover module, including a mouse droid. She like leans down and scritches. Lemmy.
However, you can scritch your mouse droid.
Yeah.
Same way you can scratch a B1 unit.
There are no B1s here, unfortunately.
B1s, like the stupid ones from the Clone Wars, or do you mean BD1?
Or BD ones, yeah.
BD units.
BD units, that's it.
No BD units here. He's busy on his own adventure right now.
There is a BD unit on Aneth, and that's with Broswick. He has one. Who? The foreman? Oh.
Yeah, they're for scouting and exploration. Which is why they have such articulate legs.
Well, I'm real proud of the work I've done, but...
Well, I'm proud of you. This is remarkable.
Thank you.
I think you might be the best mouse droid in the universe, Lemmy.
Damn right he is.
So you do get big spool of cable, and like, it's thicker than the kind you use for your thing, because yours is like, oh, I'm gonna grapple things smaller than me. These were made to like be parts of machinery, but definitely can be used to hold up any of your body weights.
I can't carry all this cable, so I'll need some help.
I got it. Earl throws it on his shoulder.
It's just fucking jacked.
Yep.
You guys head back, and you guys can get that set up for me on the table. I will be right back.
Where are you going, Ash?
I would like to go to Dex real fast.
Why?
I want to get her off my ass.
Okay.
And throw Nick under the bus a little bit.
This is priority, sure.
She needs a little bit of relief, and it will be very funny later that we can all laugh about.
You know what? It's actually very tactical, because it will distract her from the dead man. the dead man rumors.
Exactly. I'm allowed to have fun in this D&D game. I know things suck shit right now, but like a little levity.
So you go to Degs.
Yeah.
Earl sees you go in that direction and just shrugs like, oh, all right. You enter, and she's humming in the back, cooking something. It turns, looks through the window, like pokes most of her upper body through the window. Oh, Ashaa-kai,
Hey,
you're back. Did you want something?
I don't want anything, but I have something for you.
Oh, she Dugs do have like eyebrows, and like they can higher class Dugs like decorate them, like braid them like hair. But she hasn't done that. They are maintained though, and they go up.
Of course. I know you heard that man that's new in town, that I'm with him, but
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
I just want to say he and I aren't an item. However, I did hear that he's really into Dugs.
Oh, what the fuck?
But you didn't hear that from me.
A hand goes to her mouth. Really? Well, it's not unheard of. We are quite the elegant species. She fans herself a little.
Sliding him. Man, he fits really well under this bus.
I hate you
Slight
all.
revenge, and it's funny. Like I said, you didn't hear from me.
Didn't hit for me either.
I put my fingers to my lips.
Didn't hear it from a lot of people, in
Didn't hear
fact.
from
It's
a lot
almost
of
like it's
people.
not true. It's almost like it's bullshit.
Who are you two talking to?
Oh no, this is Ash is alone.
But do with that information what you will, and I'll see you later.
Oh, maybe she's already like talking to herself a little. Maybe I can gussy little Sue up.
Oh god. Oh god. What have
She
you
is getting
done?
to that age.
I hate this.
I have done something wonderful that will not bite us in the ass majorly at all whatsoever. It's just funny. And then I leave, and I meet back up with everyone else.
Sue,
Ugh, Jesus.
you get that muzzle over here.
No.
I love D&D, guys. Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
But you guys can be eating in these moments if you desire.
Oh
Yes.
boy, more slop in a bag.
I was very quick.
You come back and Earl looks at you and just says quietly, "Do I want to know what that was about?"
It's fine.
All right. Take your word for it.
Raestra keeps, like, occasionally just side-eyeing the armor.
Oh yeah,
the Mandela armor.
the old Mandalorian armor.
Yes.
Yes,
Does
makes
Nyx
sense.
fancy up these rations, or are we just kind of left to season it at our own volition?
Oh yeah, no, he'll season it up a little bit. If I have to make a check, I will.
You have a variety of rations now, so you can do some experimentation. You can mix something.
Yeah, a la
So
carte.
you can make that cooking check with whatever you desire to cooking check. I forgot.
I'm gonna make it a dex.
I think it was Dex beforehand last time.
Here's the dex. Okay. That is a 16.
16. It's tasty.
It's
Tastier than it would have been if you had just followed instructions.
Hell yeah.
And definitely hearty. It fills up all of you because that's what it's made for, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's military rations, you gotta be careful. Don't eat too much of this stuff.
No, these aren't military. These are, like what would be ready to buy for people that live here, right? So they're a little less utilitarian,
Yeah.
but still like frozen dinners, basically.
Nyx kind of regales like a little bit of a story. Yeah, you don't want to eat too many military rations. There was once a clone named Clugger, and I'm not going to go into detail how he got his name.
You don't get to pick your name. You're assigned one by your crewmates.
Well, I mean, you can pick it, but for the most part, it's kind of like it has to be like generally accepted.
I guess that makes sense.
And he accepted that title.
You could pick your name all you want, but I didn't pick my name.
How did you get your name?
So I ran straight into combat a lot during the training simulations.
I'm not surprised in this.
I was about to say Raestra puts a hand over her mouth, feigning shock.
And I would get, I was good at dodging the blasters though, but I wasn't always good at dodging the blaster. I'd get covered in armor nicks. Thus my name, Nyx.
It's a lot better than
I think it suits
it's a
you.
lot better than Clogger.
Yes, exactly.
I
What a
mean, if
spectacularly high bar.
if it makes you feel any better, I didn't pick my name either.
Really?
Oh.
I don't think.
Well, I mean, my parents named me, so
Can't all be
Yeah, we
transgender.
don't really have the benefit of picking our own names, do we?
unless you are transgender or something, or you just want to pick a new name for yourself, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I have 2 names, but I prefer Nix.
You have 2?
Yeah.
Your number's not your name,
No,
unless
Well,
it's a
I mean I don't
designation.
count that.
it is a name. It's something I go by.
No, it's-
Number's not a name unless you're a droid.
That's like people going by that chain code. That don't make no sense.
It's how we're referred to. That's our name. When we
Yeah,
come
well,
out.
they didn't see you as people.
True that.
Clearly, if they, I mean, I understand why they had to give you numbers, but I don't know. Just
I mean, you
like
can't exactly name billions of us.
that sounds like quitter talk.
Also factually incorrect because every single one
Everyone-
of you that I've ever met have had a name.
Well,
Also, like billions of people out there have names, so like the logic doesn't add up.
yeah, well.
I'm trying. I'm trying to bond.
You know, there was
You're
bound to
doing
be
fine.
a couple repeats though, because there are repeats in the real world, in the galaxy.
I mean, probably. I don't know. I as weird as it is to say, I haven't met all of my brothers.
I mean, of course not.
I mean, I heard that we had a sister.
What was her name?
Sister?
Sister.
I mean, sure.
Is that she narrows her eyes like not in derision but in thought like and she goes, "Is that possible?"
Absolutely.
I don't see why
She
I wouldn't.
identified as female, so. Yeah.
No, I mean like she like does the same vague hand gesture again like can she
I don't know. I've never met her.
You don't just
With
ask
pleasure.
transgender people about their parts.
No, it's not that. It's I suppose
All I know is that she wanted to be recognized as sister, and we recognized her as sister. Who are we to say no to?
she shrugs.
I think that's sweet.
I guess my question was more or less, did they let her?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Jedi encourage individualism amongst us, and, Kaminoans couldn't exactly say no.
I suppose. Good for her. She proceeds to continue her food.
Anyway. Actually, what I know about the Bad Batch...
Clone Force 99. Yeah, roll a lore check.
Okay. Please, hi. Lore check, you said?
Yeah.
18?
18. Yeah, you heard about Clone Force 99.
We have another Clone Force that was all defects.
Really?
Yeah, Clone Force 99.
Defects.
Yeah, Clone Force 99. They were all
Why would you want?
They were all clones that had one aspect of them genetically modified to be increased. Maybe.
Oh, so they had specializations.
Yeah, exactly. There was
It's not a defect.
well, you're right. It's not a defect, but that's what they were referred to, the defects or the Bad Batch.
That sucks. If they were specifically made to be different, then referring to them like it was shitty for them to be different's dumb.
I mean, like, I think it's also not good, but like, I'm not defending the name. However, it makes sense that like if you took Nyx and you put them next to this Bad Batch, and they look different than him.
They
'cause I'm
did.
assuming they look different from you.
Almost
like-
completely different.
It's that technically like there's defects. It's technically defects.
The process
future
defected,
clones.
not them.
Exactly.
They're not perfect clones.
Exactly. And the other thing was that a majority of the clones called them the Bad Batch, but they wore that moniker with pride. They were proud that they were different individuals.
Good for them.
Yeah, honestly, I had a lot of respect for them. Creed wasn't a fan. They did their own thing. They didn't really follow orders. They did what they thought was right.
Makes sense.
And also the big one was always like, let's smash some clankers! There's a nauseous.
Last I heard, they were about to do a mission with Skywalker, but that was the last I heard.
No, last you would have heard it. They were going to go help Depa Billaba.
That would have been the last thing.
Yeah.
In those moments,
Yep.
they were going to hold on. Actually, you probably wouldn't have heard the details, but what you would have heard is they were going to Kalar to help with the war effort. Is last you heard, because that was one of the possibilities of where you could have been sent, but you got sent to Coruscant.
Yeah. Yeah, last I heard they were going to Khaled. That was last I heard, but I don't know if they made it, if they've been indoctrinated, or they're dead.
They're probably fine.
Possibly. I don't know.
Well, if they're anything like you, then they're probably fine.
High praise. I'll take it.
I mean, you survived like a several hundred-story fall?
Give or take.
Built.
And that was only because I landed a lot of vegetables.
Constructed alternatively. Actually, no. Constructed exactly according to code.
Listen, I'm built like IKEA furniture. There's a lot of me, but I'm sturdy.
Not what's going on the list. I'm built like IKEA furniture. It's a good one.
Have you guys ever been to the planet IKEA? They got a weird way of saying things.
Oh boy.
I cannot explain to you the existential dread of a whole planet-wide IKEA.
It's where those Techno Union guys are from.
Yeah!
The Techno Union army is at your disposal, Count.
I had a question, I guess.
Sure.
If this has not been discussed with Ash specifically, although I think she was there for that, discussing the term shiny.
Oh.
Chinese, you know.
Yeah.
Do I? Ash touches her torso a little bit and rubs where she got sliced up by that guard on Jaren Voss's ship.
Yeah.
She's like, do I still count as a shiny? Should I at this point?
Shiny is a term for those who haven't gotten their paint yet. But if you ask me, you earned your paint a long time ago. Long before what happened with Dryden.
Raestra nods agreement.
Well, thank you. Feels weird. And like, Ash puts a hand up, almost like preemptively, because we can see the scars on Raestra's face. Just being like, I'm not comparing, but it feels weird to have a major scar now, I guess.
No, it feels... Raestra just immediately, like, doesn't understand why you would preempt this, and then it clicks, and she goes, oh, yeah, no, it's weird.
Yeah.
No,
well,
it's definitely weird. It was weird for me, too.
Yeah, welcome to the club. And he's gonna open up just, like, part of his, like, shirt to show the blaster scar on his chest from when Creed shot him.
Yeah. It's kind of in the upper right pectoral. Not your heart.
Yep.
God.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, you probably would have been a lot worse off.
Yep.
But she's just like, no, yeah, it's always weird.
Ash will pull her shirt up a little bit. Not too terribly far, because it was, like in the middle.
Yeah.
And, like, stands up, and you see that gash that goes along her torso now, and you can also see that she is striped everywhere, because she has 2 more sets of stripes near her, like, hips and stuff, so she's got...
Raestra, like, out loud goes, oh.
What?
I didn't know they were, like, she gestures to her torso, like, all over. I thought they were just gestures to her face.
I mean, they're almost... I mean, I'm not... I mean, I don't know how common straps are, but, like, I've always had a lot of them, so...
They're cool, it's not...
Literally
she narrows her eyes for a minute, and she goes, it feels like a bad pickup line to ask you if they're all over.
I mean, yeah, they're on my legs, arms, face, neck, chest.
Well, that's why I didn't ask, is because it felt like it was gonna be like a weird come on if I asked you if they were just... if you had them all over.
No.
Earl is looking and he said, so one of Dryden Voss's men did that to you?
Yeah. He's dead now.
Good.
Continues to drink his coffee.
You were thorough on that one.
Calf.
Shut up.
Nixon. Sorry, you go ahead.
Jizz trumpet.
Shut up.
I'm the one with the power here, not you.
Much to my unending chagrin.
But I'll eat. Ash eats quickly though, and after all that, and she starts working on the very large grappling hooks.
Make a tinker check. Somebody who's good at things can help if they want.
Raestra continues to gently just examine the armor.
Is anyone gonna help me, or am I rolling solo?
Well, I wanted to actually talk to Cal.
You got
Yeah.
Cal will help.
Earl won't be of much help, so.
No one is, because I have a int of 20 and no one else is near that, I guess. That's fine, I'll roll singular.
I have
Let me
I
know.
have a 0 in intelligence. I only get a +1 because of the skills that I've taken.
You're asking Lemmy to gain access to the help action in things like combat, and is that what I'm hearing?
No,
Okay.
I don't want him to have a stat block.
Okay.
Fine, I'll have expertise in this. Okay. It's 14 plus 9.
Jesus.
23?
You do well.
Well, of course I do.
You do very well.
I'm me.
Very
I'm
well
built for
indeed.
this shit.
Yoda laughs in the distance.
What you wind up constructing is basically these lovely harnesses with basically like a backpack. The wire is in basically the back of it, like a backpack. And
This is a very horny episode.
what do you mean?
I'm nothing. I'm done.
Oh, jeez. Okay, what a sentence to interrupt me with. God, I'm so horny for this episode right now.
You mean excited?
Nope.
Like, what's a word when you're horny for something, but not like, I want to fuck this podcast? Do you mean excited?
You mean excited?
Jesus. It's basically a well-constructed climbing harness with like a backpack for this wire and made specifically for rappelling. You can there's a very well it's not a hook, it's actually like a like clip and piton deal where like you set up where you're going to rappel from carefully first and then start going down. You can start lowering yourself. And you test, the mechanics and it and winds back in, and you have a device to like just measure the tensile strength, and you're like, oh, one of these could hold all of us, so each of us having one will be perfectly fine. But that's it. Yeah. It works well. Lemmy does fun little circles, and you ask him to he like pulls one of the ropes all the way up to the ceiling. And then you tell him to let go, and you reel it in, and it reels in nicely. The speed is actually... What did you roll? Again?
23?
23. Yeah, the speed is even a little impressive. It can...
I surprise
He's
myself
fast.
sometimes.
He fast as fuck.
Not me. Or I'll pat you on the shoulder. You've always been good at things like this. Good job.
By the way, thank you. Did you see it when I killed the thing on the train?
Yeah, I did. I was there.
I tried to see if you saw me and if maybe you were proud of me, and I couldn't tell in the moment, so...
I'm always proud of you, Ashley. Because of you and your friends, a lot more people could have gotten hurt. And you, he pauses to gather the words. Much like here, you're a uniting force. I think these people, he like, look, because you've made your way off to the side table and kind of everyone else is sitting in other places, and he like looks over at them. He's like, I think they have always needed someone like you.
A brain cell.
Oh, he like does one of those playful shoves, but he's strong, so you just like, you don't tumble out of the chair, but you know what I mean.
I know.
Silly. Nix wanted to talk to Cal, so you can do that now.
Nix is gonna... He's basically checking in on Cal. Hey, couple of things.
Yes.
Are you doing alright?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You sure you were kind of zoned out there when I brought up that bunch of things?
There's a large part of my mind is taken up by you and clones in general. I don't necessarily. How do I? You're my friend,
Yeah.
and I welcome you in my life, but there's
Yeah.
things about how you were designed that always bother me. I understand the necessity for your being need to find purpose in war, but I can't say that I like that. I don't like that you were programmed to find purpose like that.
I mean, that's perfectly fair. I'm not exactly a fan of it myself, if it's any consolation.
I can imagine.
I've heard some clones dreamed of, after the war was over, we were told that we would be citizens of the Republic, and we could do whatever we wanted. Some wanted to start a farm, others wanted to go out and become bounty hunters.
That's all well and good, but I imagine a lot of clones were probably similar to how you feel right now.
We were bred for war. To a lot of clones, that's all we'll ever know. You know, it's funny. I didn't know a lot about Mandalorians, but I read up on them. They were warriors first and foremost, but also artists. I always wanted to visit Mandoa. See it, you know? I don't know if that's because I'm part Django or that's Nyx being curious, but their ideas of warriors is far different from mine. To me, a warrior fights, bleeds, and dies for their beliefs. To them, a warrior is someone that carries honor with them into the battle. I never felt honor, to be perfectly honest. I felt pride. I've been proud of who I am and what I was meant for. But, I don't know.
I actually like that.
How so?
The idea of fighting for your beliefs. If that makes you a warrior. I never thought of that.
Well, yeah. You fight for what you believe in.
Being around Jedi, we often use the term peacekeeper. Just doing exactly that. We keep peace. There's a vague goal, but I guess for lack of a better way of putting it, it has some vision to it.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
I always knew the Jedi viewed themselves as peacekeepers, but from what I've seen, you lot fought just as hard as we did. I don't know if that's how you guys viewed peace or what you thought was the price for peace, but, and this is just my opinion, you can take it with a grain of salt. I don't know if you guys have been peacekeepers for a very long time. Long before the Clone Wars.
Well, I suppose it partially helped that our opponents were mostly droids.
Yeah, that's true.
I think a lot of us were blinded by the war. I think we had good ideas, but got lost in winning. For me, it was almost as if I thought that if we won the war, that everything would be fine, that things would go back to normal, and that was the correct course for us to take. I never thought about how we would win, and I never thought about what happened after.
I don't think anyone did. I think we all just assumed that this would just keep going on forever. One more thing, before I leave you, D-Meal. I gotta teach you how to fight, man.
I will warn you, that will be a hard road. Like, you need to understand.
Yeah.
I want to teach Raestra to abandon the dark side, and I'm convinced that will be 3 times easier than me learning how to fight.
I'm gonna teach you how to fight. Listen. You're great. You got the whole Jedi thing down, right?
Yes.
And please don't take offense to this. You are what Jedi are supposed to be. I know that sounds underhanded, but I thank you. But unfortunately, we're being hunted by Empire, and Raestra and I are not always going to be nearby you.
No, you're correct. I should be able to defend myself.
And you can. You are capable of it. I see it. You just needs to be honed a little bit, and I think I can help you with that. If you'll have me, of course.
You know, I like that.
Great.
I think that would be perfect.
Awesome. Good talk.
Though I can't say I have the capacity to earn the same muscle mass that you have.
My ASIs will not allow it.
My ASIs will not allow me to gain more muscle mass. My strength is an 8.
Mine's a 7.
Mine's a 13. My dex is awesome, though.
19.
My dex is 19.
I suppose I've gotten this far with the Force, but even that can only carry me so far.
Well, never hurts to have a little extra in the pocket.
He'll reach out his hand.
I'll take it. Give it a shake.
Is it the, forearm shake?
No, hand. He hasn't earned the forearm shake yet.
That's true.
One day. One day they'll be brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, one day.
It just becomes so in tune that Cal starts to sound like Nix.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Ah, there's 2 of us now.
Oh god, there's
I've created
2.
a monster.
I've created a
I'm
monster.
CT-3536.
No, that was oh god, who was 3536? I was in the tube right next to him. I cannot remember for the life of me where he went.
DM?
Yeah.
Silence this buffoonery. No, I have something I would like to do.
Yeah, I was going to ask you next. You were right on time with your interruption. What would you like to do?
After she's done eating, Ray would like to make a mistake.
Sure.
She's gonna do something she hasn't done since she got the armor because she was not in a good place in case something went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
She's gonna take her gloves off and try to do the thing.
I was just thinking about that. Using, you don't have full control over this gift, right? So
Not yet.
Go ahead and make a wisdom check.
I'm bad at those. Oh god. That was not a roll, I just dropped it. That's the roll. That's atrocious. That's a 6.
6? Well,
We fail upwards in this house.
yeah, like this. Because what we're going to do is we'll say it takes you a while. You're like, huh. And at some point, literally everyone notices what you're trying to do.
She's touches it gently, waits for something, nothing happens, she touches it slightly more firmly, and then she's just slapping it.
I would imagine Earl and I look over at this and is
Yeah.
a little confused.
Yeah, Earl just holds his gaze on you for a bit and then just back to what he was doing, one single head shake back to what he was doing. And you're touching the breastplate when you do this, and you're and Eventually, in frustration, you adjust your sitting stance and rest your hand on top of the helmet, and that's when the force takes you. The vision takes you. And it's not fun.
I fucking figured.
Ooh, this is fascinating. So, it's like, imagine if you will, being catapulted into the speed of light without, like, the protection of a ship around you. Like, you're just bolted in like a roller coaster, right? And your body subjected to the G-forces. That's kind of what it feels like to... You've never gone this far back in time. But your strong frustration resonated with the helmet in that moment, and maybe the Force didn't want to show you something, but you wanted it so bad you're getting something. And it's like, it's because it's all in your head, it's so strange, but it is like sickening. It's like you were catapulted, and it takes you a second to get your bearings, and when you do, it's still rough. What you're seeing and feeling is the adrenaline rush of battle, and just the little bit of panic of impending defeat as you take in everything around you. You're on some sort of ship. Nothing looks familiar, though. It's like looking at 60s cars, right? This was a long time ago, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But everything's metal and has to be like some kind of thing, some kind of ship that you're inside, or maybe building, you don't know. And the armor, you're experiencing this through the armor, but the residual, especially since the helmet's linked to the head, the residual emotions are kind of like pounding you like loud music. Like if loud music pounds your ears, right? And you're getting the resolve, but the terror, the adrenaline, you see blaster bolts arc forward past the visor that you can, because you're kind of like stuck tight in this visor view. But what you also see on the other side of these blaster bolts are lightsabers, 2 of them. And everything's still like, the edges of your vision are usually blurry in these visions. It's astronomically so in this one. You're forced to do nothing but tunnel vision, whether that's to do with the distance you've traveled, the distance of time you've traveled, or maybe this individual was just tunnel visioned in these moments. You don't know, but it's there. The resolve and the adrenaline and the terror escalate as it's like the music's just getting louder and louder, poof, poof, and you're seeing the lasers, you're seeing the only way you know they're lightsabers is like you've seen them enough. Like it's a straight beam of light that's moving in such a way that you feel it has to be a lightsaber. And then one of them gets closer and closer. You don't even see a body behind it. Everything's so blurry. But then it's like someone dropped a camera. It's like on the ground and nothing. And you're taken back into the real world. Again, the reverse trip is also rough. It's like just instantly G-forces. Your body can't feel it, but your mind is like reeling.
There's like 30 seconds of a pause, and then she just bolts for the bathroom and throws up.
Yeah. What a great note to end on.
I'm gonna go check on her.
I'm fine.
I heard that's what you get when you try to force things. It's a pun.
I'm fine. It just sucked a lot. And then that's the end?
Yeah. That's where we'll stop.
Star Wars First Resistance is a live play Dungeons & Dragons podcast using the Star Wars 5e system, which can be accessed for free at sw5e.com. Our podcast features the player talent of BubblingBrooke as Ashaa-kai, Silver Keyblade as Calchin Phimiir, Ben Lepard as Nyx, HitenNoRuroni as Raestra Akkan, and this Justin as the Game Master. You can find links to our social medias in the description. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please, we would love it if you left a positive review, commented, and shared this with your friends. We can't thank you enough for listening to us goof around and tell stories, and we hope you'll join us on next episode. Until then, may the Force be with you.